Already here too this afternoon, so that's okay. As we speak tonight, or this afternoon, I can tell you I started this morning at 7 o'clock, so it's been a long day already. I get home tonight about 9:30, and that's the way it's been for 425 days so far. So it's some long days, but I appreciate you being here. For those of you who don't know me, been in business for 27 years. I'm just going to give you a little background, and I'm just going to actually open it up for questions. I've been in business for 27 years. Been married for 28 years. I have 3 children that are all in college right now. One of them's in law school, and I won't hold that against him. You know, most people say we've got enough lawyers around. The other one's at Notre Dame. Actually, I'm proud of him too. I'm proud of all 3 of my children are going to be a doctor. And my third child, Rhiannon's actually at University of Akron right now. So all college age. Been married for 28 years last Friday. So my wife's had to put up a lot over the last 425 days. But I appreciate everybody being here because we're down to the last 11 days. What we found in the last 11 days is the same thing I found in the first 425 days, is that people are not happy. They're concerned about the direction of our country. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons why I'm running. I'm not happy with the direction of our country either. And over the last couple of years, Ohio's lost for 600,000 people on unemployment. In this district alone, unemployment's gone from 6.5% to approximately 12%, so it's almost doubled. And then last month, we just heard that we lost another 95,000 jobs in the economy. So we're not going in the right direction. And in 2009, I made the decision that, you know what, I'm not happy after 27 years of putting businesses together, creating 1,500 jobs, employing over 3,000 people. I'm not really happy, and I'm concerned for my children and my grandchildren. So in 2009, I actually made this decision to run for Congress. Some people have said, why? And here you are, you've been a businessman for 27 years, you've been successful for 27 years. Why would you do this? And again, concern for my family is the most important thing. But also because I believe we need to send people to Washington that have the background and experience I have. You know, one of the biggest issues, we could sit here, all problems we have, I could stand here today and I could blame my opponent, John Bucherri, I could blame Nancy Pelosi, I could blame President Obama, but truly all of us are a little bit, we have to share the blame. Because we put people in the office based on sound bites versus substance. We put people in the office based on 30-second advertisements on TV, which we'll talk about, versus accomplishments. Now, if you look at my accomplishments, been able to create jobs, 1,500, been able to employ 3,000 people. I'm pretty proud of that. But we put people in office who not only have never done that, especially in Congress, but then they make legislation that we all have to live with. And yet they don't. They've never had to live with it. So when Mr. Bucherri votes and says, I'm going to vote for the health care bill because I believe in it, he doesn't have to live with it on the other side and basically realize that it's driving costs up. I've been traveling the district. We'll talk a little bit about health care. I have found nobody who has said that they like the health care bill yet. All right? And that's kind of interesting because 68% of people do not like the health care bill because it's driving costs up. Now, there were some good things in the health care bill. Coverage. You know, pre-existing conditions, I've said, that's good legislation. And we have elimination of caps on certain illnesses to stop people from having trouble financially if they come down with certain illnesses. Those are all good things, but we could have passed that legislation in 6 pages. We passed a 2,000-page bill, and 1,995 pages of it are what I call toxic. There are so many things that are going to drive up costs that half of us don't even know what they're going to do to us in the future. So ultimately, we can make a difference. We can send people to Washington who have the experience. We can send people to Washington to understand what it makes to create a job. But remember, this is your seat, not John Bucherri's seat, not my seat. This is really your seat. You all have to make that decision. So what I've been doing for the last 14 months is just talking and listening, and I appreciate you so much being here this afternoon, because this is what's really going to make it happen. We're down to the last 11 days. And quite frankly, it's not going to be easy. Everybody sits here and says, you heard polls out there. Yesterday, Kasich was up by 10. Today, he's even. I mean, back and forth, back and forth. We can make sure that this seat gets filled by somebody you want, by if you get out and vote. And I've said this to everybody I've talked to. You influence 50 people. You might not believe that, but you all influence 50 people. And over the next 11 days, I'm asking you to try and influence those 50 people. Tell them you met me. Tell them you had a chance to ask questions. And hopefully after you leave here, you can influence them so that they get out and vote. And they vote for me so that we can make a difference in Congress next year. With that, I'm going to kind of open up for questions.
I know we need jobs, a lot of jobs. I've been hearing it and hearing it, and we've been hearing it for a long time. But how? How are we going to acquire new jobs, new businesses? This is what I would like to ask you. You may not have an answer, and that's okay. Why not eliminate all the corporate tax in the United States and ask them, or before you do that, ask them what they would do with the extra money? Would they have new businesses? Would they expand their businesses? Would new companies come in from the rest of the world? This is what my son really thinks should happen. He is from New Jersey and corporate headquarters, and he feels as though if we would eliminate all the corporate tax in the United States, we would have businesses coming in from around the world and have less unemployment. What do you think?
Well, I would tell you, it's a good idea. It's a drastic idea, but it's a good idea, and we have to listen to all ideas. One of the things you'll hear to know about Jim Renacci is I'm going to listen. Now, it's interesting because if you ask me how we create jobs, I'm a job creator. I've been a business owner for 28 years, and I wouldn't hire anybody today in today's environment. And what's the reason why? I don't know what my tax rate's going to be next year. Congress left without telling us whether they're going to allow the 2001 tax cuts to remain. So my tax rates might go up. I don't know what my health care costs are going to be because this health care bill is driving costs up. And I don't know what my utility costs are because we have a congressman here in the 16th district, if he was standing here, would tell you he's still for cap and trade. So that's certainty and predictability has now been taken out of the marketplace. So we do need to be able to start thinking of some of these ways to bring certainty and predictability back. I agree with you. We have the highest federal tax rate in the world other than one other country. So we need to start looking at tax rates. If you want to become more competitive here in the United States, let's start looking at our tax rates. Let's start looking at these toxic bills that are killing jobs. Health care. You know, it's a job killer. Whether you like it or not, if I'm a business owner and my premium just goes up 63%, which, by the way, I have a company in Medina, their health care premium just went up 63%. You can't afford to keep people on the payroll. That's a job-killing tax. Cap and trade. If Mr. Boccieri continues to say this is great, and I believe in alternative energy, don't get me wrong. I believe in that. And I believe in all approach to alternative energy. But the minute you start penalizing people in Ohio, that 88% of their energy is based on coal, is the minute you're going to start driving jobs away. So I also believe in all of the above. Let's look at our corporate tax rate. Let's look at all these other bills that are causing jobs to go away. Because the biggest problem we have today is jobs. You know, you've probably heard John Kasich say it. I say it all the time too. We have our three biggest problems are jobs, jobs, and jobs. Any other questions?
If you don't ask him questions, I'm going to take him to Perrysville. So what's the question then?
I'm not going to make a statement. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to make a statement. I'm Jim Gerbil, and I'm president of the Weekend Area Group Foundation, vice chairman of the Action County of Economic Development. And I can't speak for those organizations today. I'm speaking for myself. But I just want to leave you with one thought. And this is by St. Francis of Assisi. When he said, increase within each of us a sense of uneasiness because there is so much difference between who we are as individuals and what we can cooperatively do. And I'm hoping that if you get elected, and you certainly have my family's votes, that you would take that same philosophy of cooperatively working together, because it's never going to be one party, the sum of the whole, to solve our problems. Just a statement, not a question.
Well, I do agree with you. And look, I've said at the last meeting, and I've said over the last 12 or 14 months, the Republicans made some very big mistakes. And I always use this analogy. The train that's going down the track can only hold a train going 35 miles an hour. The Republicans took that train to about 50. Can't survive on that track. But this last administration, with the help of my opponent, John Bucherri, is now taking that train up to about 80. So both parties are at fault here. So when I run, I truly run as an American first. But I truly do believe in the Republican values of less taxes, smaller government, personal responsibility, and a strong military. So I'm going to go to Washington if you all elect me, and you'll know that those are the things I believe in. And it's important that we can all work together. And I've been able to do that even in Wadsworth. I mean, Wadsworth is a partisan community. And I can tell you, we were able to work together. I learned some things from the Democrats, but we were always able to work together. So I appreciate your statement.
In our society today, you go down to Washington with great intentions, as I think all our politicians do, and then you start getting party pressure. If you want party support, if you want party dollars, you're going to vote this way. It doesn't have to be the way your constituents or you think. What are we going to do?
It's a good question. Remember what I said. We elect people based on sound bites versus substance. We elect people versus advertising versus accomplishments. We send people to Washington to need a job. We send people to Washington and want a career. I don't need either one. I'm going down to serve. So quite frankly, if I can tell you the greatest asset I have, I've already had my career. I've already been able to enjoy an opportunity. Look, I started out with nothing. Blue collar union family. And I was able to build a business, take care of my family, and be able to be successful, which I think is the greatest opportunity that this country has, the American dream. And now what I want to do is go down and serve. So when somebody walks in my office, whether it's a Republican or Democrat, and says, you need to be able to vote this way, my answer to them is, I don't need the job and I don't need the career. I'm going to remember the people back home. And if you send people to Washington with that background, you're going to get a different result.